Greetings. Sunday morning, the 24th of May, and it's not even 9 o'clock. Get it? Very early for me. Still, what's been going on over the last week since I last did a View podcast? Well, quite a lot. Been to a couple of exhibitions and done quite a bit of work. Now, the exhibition is what I want to talk about mostly today, and that was the Sustainability exhibition at the NEC in Birmingham. Now, it wasn't a vast, major building exhibition. It was a one-hall affair, but that was big enough for me, I think. And there's quite a bit to see there. There was a theme there which was sustainability. Now, when you start getting into this subject, there's a lot of wannabes out there. People who are jumping on the bandwagon, trying to sell their products on the back of the sustainability kick. And there's a lot of people I don't like because of that. So when you're walking around these exhibitions, you suddenly find that there's certain stands which just aren't interesting. But there are a lot that are. And the first one came to mind, and I just happened to see it because they got a car there. And it's this one. It was Birmingham University, actually, although it says Coventry University on the flyer. But it was this, their little car, hydrogen. Now, the next thing that I looked at was this smart meter, because I was looking for smart meter technology, and I found several when I was there. Now, there was a nice little company called ASL, and the guy there was saying that if you approach your supplier and tell them you want to go onto a smart meter, they will come and change your electricity meter. And as part of the kit, the little top bit which sits on the top of the meter is actually a modem, a small computer and a modem. And it communicates all the information that you want onto somebody's platform. Now, Google have got a very good one going at the moment. Now, there are no UK partners, so I presume that ASL haven't sorted it out with them yet. But I'm very, very impressed by the fact that there are people now out there pushing this technology, and as soon as it becomes more widespread, we're on the bandwagon. I want to know more about this, purely because of the car. Now, when you start looking at this, I had a long conversation with the guy there. When you're actually producing hydrogen, somebody's got to produce the electricity to do it. However, if you've got solar panels on your house, for instance, and the smart meter is saying to you, well, I'll charge the car first, make all the hydrogen you need for the next 100 miles, because at the moment that's all it's limited to, and then I'll put the rest either into your house or into the grid. Very, very good. Now go on a little bit and start thinking about something that I said about a month or two ago about the MIT and the technology that they're generating, which says that small scale photovoltaic cells can generate enough power to produce reasonable amounts of hydrogen, which can then be turned back into energy and used on something like a Stirling engine. Now, Stirling engines need very, very little energy to run, but they just keep on going. Now, I like this technology. All of a sudden, things are starting to kick in, and I think the technologists out there should take account of this when they're designing new houses. Smart technology in terms of the grid, photovoltaic cells, perhaps a little solar panel somewhere to give it additional heat into the water system, channeling it through all into the smart meter, and the smart meter says, I'll charge your car, or I'll charge the house, or I'll sell it back onto the grid. This is where the technology is going, and I think it will be great to see it being implemented. I doubt very much whether the big house builders will ever start doing it in the immediate future, unless they're actually told to do it by law. But there'll be a couple of people out there who want to do it. Now, I've done some searching around and found decent sized batteries, little gizmos that turn from 12 volt into 24 volt. The caravan trade have known about it for years. Now, I've got a mate who's a big caravaner, and he says what he does basically, he's got a little photovoltaic cell on the top of his caravan. When he's travelling down, his car system is charging up his batteries in his caravan, and then when he gets there, unhooks the system takes over. The little panel works out how much power he's got, and it tells him how much power he's got left in the system before he has to switch on to mains. Unbelievable. These caravan guys have been doing it for years, and the household system haven't, but they will be very shortly. That's that bit. So, what else? Now, can I see this? Can you see this? System called Geo Visionary. I just happened to be walking past the top end of the exhibition, and there was this large screen with something like Google Earth being played around with, and guys wearing glasses. So obviously I had to have a little look, and it turns out that it is a 3D mapping system, but nothing like you've ever seen before, because there's a whole raft of data that's been played around with. It's a pure 3D system. He had 2 mountain chains going down, and he took one point on the one chain, dragged across on the mouse, and touched the other point on the other mountain range, and all of a sudden it filled in the terrain from one point to the other. And he said, all I've got to do now is stretch that long, and I know exactly how much volume I've either got to fill in or water available. Incredible. All the geo data that is available can be then imported into that, and all of a sudden he was going not from the top surface, but he was coming up underneath, and all the geo energy that's been stored up in the rocks for fault lines or whatever, he says can all be imported in, and they can see exactly what's going on underneath the surface rather than on the top. Incredible system. And you could switch it between 3D and ordinary 2D system. Unbelievable. How to architect. Now, Doug Patt, I quite like his shows. He's what I call a reasonable architect. He knows how to draw, and I mean by that my pencil, paper, pen, drawing board. Now, there's not many out there who can still do it properly. I was taught on the board, so I don't have a problem. But there's 1 or 2 young kids coming up through the system now who have no experience of the drawing board. I know they are encouraged to use the drawing board at the School of Architectures, but it's only in the first year. After that, they're out of it. And it's a big waste, because part of an architect's or even a technologist training should be on the board, learning how to draw properly with the pen. Notice rotaring. So, what else? Yeah, let's go back onto Doug Patt, because he's got a couple of nice ones out there at the moment. How to cut. Would you believe he's done a 10-minute little thingy on how to cut? Now, I was taught, and the equipment that he's talking about, this is the very thing that Doug is talking about, and this is my cutting board, and you can see how marked up it is. This has been with me now nearly 30 years, must be that long. I remember buying it when I was with Endow, when I was doing a lot of cutting up model work. But when you're doing a client and you're starting to, try to make him understand how things look, you will start cutting up on model board, on foam board, making up little things so he can see what's going on. Storyboards, material boards, so he can see what materials you're being doing. You're going to cut, so get yourself a cutting board and good stuff, and go and watch Doug Patt, because it's pretty good. The dictionary's been started to fill out quite nicely with stuff that I'm putting on. If you've got anything you want to put on, I'll put it up in your name, and I'll give links to say where it came from. No problem on that. The right hand video is now the new introduction, so you can see exactly what it's all about. I'd like to put something else up there. If somebody wants to use that space and be a sponsor for me, I'd be very pleased to talk to you. And you can have that space up there and put your own video up there. And that's about it, really. Have fun, be good, and I'll talk to you all very soon.